Hi there, and welcome to Lesson 8. This is all on the power of the mastermind. So it's actually a really exciting chapter because it's kind of the chapter where we start to turn the corner towards the infinite intelligence as it's referred to in this book, but also things that are a little bit more spiritual, more connecting to our own inner wisdom, connecting to the collective consciousness. So these are words that I am using. He uses infinite intelligence. And the subsequent chapters are on the mind and the subconscious and the sixth sense. And I'm really excited to get to them, but this chapter is very important as well. So let's get started. So the chapter opens talking about the power. And I think this is intentional, like the name of the chapter is The Power of the Mastermind. I'm saying power of the mastermind. And so he just kind of wants to outline a couple of things related to power. So power is essential for like pushing your plan into action. And we've talked about creating our definite purpose or our definite desire, and then the plan for achieving it. And so Napoleon Hill says power is organized knowledge. Okay, so all these things, you're going to break them down like power, organized knowledge. And organizing just really means like you're collecting it. So he talks about infinite intelligence, again, as a source of knowledge. He talks about the kinds of imagination that we covered in a previous chapter, basically like synthetic imagination. That's kind of like all that information that's out there in the world. That you can rearrange or like accept and change, but you know, you can also just go back to school and learn something new, learn a new, you know, kind of like technical, what's the word I'm looking for? You can, you know, learn a new skill or, you know, learn a new profession. You can, so like basically your accumulated experience is another source of knowledge that he's saying as a source of knowledge, you can, like as power, you collect, power is organized knowledge, and the places that you can get like knowledge from, infinite intelligence, accumulated experience, which basically is, like I said, the synthetic imagination or going back to school, learning from other people, that kind of thing. But the thing I wanted to highlight is when he discusses experimentation and research, because I've always said you don't know if something is going to work until you kind of go down the path of trying it. And it's the same with setting a plan in place. You know, going through the steps to see if the plan will work is the only way to figure out if that is going to work or not. So he mentions experimenting and research, but I want to add my 2 cents in taking aligned action and then trying something. And then if it doesn't work, then going and trying something else. But you really have to experiment and continue to try things in order to get to the next thing. You know, it's like an evolution, and it's a constant growing and changing and moving forward. So I feel like the concept he talks about, the power of the mastermind, you just have to kind of like take the power and the knowledge components and let's check that off. Like we have that knowledge and we know that. I put all the information in the handout, downloadable, printable thing for you. And that's where the power comes in, is being able to organize this knowledge. the mastermind actually is kind of the mind-blowing portion of today's lesson. So when I first read this book and I went through it with my brother, we actually talked a lot about the mastermind, and it was really in the sense of, you know, I've done masterminds before with my family members, and I've heard about like a mastermind group where you meet or you have like a Skype call or a phone call once a week, and you're basically like holding each other accountable. It might be more of a business coaching or mentoring kind of relationship, but that's my knowledge of the word mastermind. And I took that thought knowledge, the tool, if you will, of the mastermind, and I tried to apply it just from that point of my mind. What I want to help you to connect in this class is the thinking and the knowing part of this, and being able to maybe bring it a little bit past your just what you know in your mind. So you almost have to set aside what you know in your mind to go into the text of this lesson. So maybe if you're familiar with the mastermind concept, let's just take that, set it aside for like just 1 minute. I'm gonna just briefly talk about the two kinds of mastermind principles that he discusses in his chapter on the power of the mastermind. Now, the first one is, he refers to it as the economic principle. And that's pretty much what my mind associated with the mastermind is, who do I need in my corner, in my group of people to, you know, help me move to the next level financially. And it's really where you surround yourself with a group of people that can work in the spirit of perfect harmony. Now, he uses those words in his book, and I feel like they're very important because what you find is people that are not as invested in your like desire as you are may not be in that spirit of perfect harmony. I feel like everyone kind of has to get something out of it, not in like a selfish way, but everyone kind of needs to have skin in the game and also be able to reap benefits. So in this first principle of the economic mastermind concept, he's basically talking about like the people that you have around you to accomplish your desire. So for me, let's look at my desire of being a New York Times bestselling author. That would probably entail, like if I said, who would I want on my team to help me accomplish this goal? And that person might be a publisher. You know, it might be people that I hire to edit my book and that kind of thing. So it can be employees in your company. Napoleon Hill actually uses Henry Ford as an example for this because he had like 50 people that helped. Oh, no, not Henry Ford. I think it was Andrew Carnegie. Maybe he had 50 people in like who he surrounded himself for the definite purpose of manufacturing and marketing steel. So this was in his steel business and corporation. And so those 50 people were considered like part of his mastermind because they were all gathered for the purpose of helping him to, you know, bring this dream to fruition. Now, you may have people that you know that you want to bring into your like inner circle, and they might be people that are like, you know, business partners or people that you need to accomplish your goal. Like I'm an architect, so maybe I would want to group myself with maybe another architect that has more of the technical side of architecture, because for that dream of mine to become a world-renowned architect, I need someone that has the technical expertise, but I don't want to be that person. So I might, include them in my mastermind, or they might just become a business partner or an employee of mine. But that's the concept. And in the conscious practices, I'm going to have you make some lists of people that you might need to accomplish your goals, and because that's how you start. And I would say the other way to start meeting people is, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of your house. If you stay at home or you work on your own, join groups, go to meetups, go to community events, just start kind of taking the opportunities that might be presented to you in your day or week to meet other people, and then be open, have your mind open to the people that you need potentially as part of your mastermind to fulfill this goal for you. So that's the first principle. It's very much the traditional concept of the mastermind. Now, the second principle of the mastermind, Napoleon Hill refers to this as the psychic principle. And this is where some people, when you're just reading straight through the book, might not even remember reading this. I know for myself, I don't know if I even remember reading this part of the mastermind, because I still was so in my head about what I thought the mastermind looked like sort of what we talked about in the first principle, that I didn't even really realize what this psychic portion was. And if you're reading the book and reading along here, I will tell you that it's in the book. It's on, if you have this version of the book, it's on page 251. And he says, we talked about the first example, and that is what I call, or what he calls the economic, I call more traditional. And he also says, then the psychic phase of the mastermind principle is much more abstract. Yeah, no crap. I refer to this as the spiritual forces. And this is where the meditation comes in. This is where the conscious practices come in. And I've included them with all the different lessons that I've done. But this is where, from here on out in the book, it's all going to be connecting to the ether, the infinite intelligence, the not the physical world, but more the spiritual realm. And so I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready for this. And the human mind is a form of energy, and part of that energy is spiritual in nature. And that's what Napoleon Hill says. And I will tell you from my experience, I have practiced meditation now for almost at least 2 years. And I feel like I am evolving in my practice of meditation, but there's no one way to do it. You can meditate for stress reduction. You can meditate for all sorts of things. But again, the conscious practices that I give you as part of each lesson will help you to connect to your own stillness inside yourself. And so this is the introduction, or the transition, if you will, to the spiritual side of the Think and Grow Rich principles. It's the spiritual side of everything that you're doing. If you think of the physical side as being the action and the doing and the force, then you can think of the spiritual side as the attraction of the being, the presence, the awareness. And it's hard to articulate sometimes how to connect with that part of yourself, but I think you'll find that the more you practice the meditation and the stillness and the quieted thoughts, the more you will understand that you're opening the door to that, you're opening the connection to that infinite intelligence that Napoleon Hill refers to, or God, energy, source energy, creation, universe. Like, these are the collective consciousness. It's basically what is available to you beyond your own conscious mind. And so one of the things that Napoleon Hill introduces is the idea of the mastermind as he uses the analogy of a battery. So if your mind was a battery and all the other people's mind, like your mastermind group, this may or may not be the same group as in the traditional concept of the mastermind, but this is connecting the batteries of those 5 people and generating a different level of energy because you're connected. Does that make sense? So he uses the analogy of like a bunch of batteries, like being your minds connecting together to create more energy, a different potential energy than you could create on your own. So this is just sort of scratching the surface of the next several chapters. And the entire book is really laying out these principles. And then once you have everything, you can apply it all together, if that makes sense. So the 2 kinds of mastermind, just to recap, is the economic mastermind, which may be very like business driven or business focused, and can be coaching, mentoring, have a lot of, on the physical realm, have a lot of value. And then the psychic mastermind concept is, first of all, that your brain is energy, and then you can connect to infinite intelligence. You can also connect to other people, and that will strengthen the energy that you have. So it's pretty exciting. So for the conscious practices, I maybe referred to it before, but I'm going to have you start making a list of other people that you might have in your physical mastermind and other people that you might have in your psychic mastermind. And so one of the meditation exercises is actually something he does later in the book, but it's sort of piquing your interest possibly and putting you in a meditative state, and then maybe opening yourself up to connecting with someone else's energy. So just check that out. If it's a little bit too out there for you, then that's okay. Just do whatever you're comfortable with. And then the alignment writing, I am, again, just kind of focusing on the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Is, you are the culmination of those people. And that's a Jim Rohn quote that I totally just butchered. But you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, I think is closer to his quote. And that would be, that's something to really think about, is like who you spend your time with. And given the fact that if you're the average of 5 people, then who are those 5 people that you would want to be the average of? And are you surrounding yourself with those people currently? I know for me, for a very long time since my conscious awakening, I have really surrounded myself with podcasts and audiobooks, and I feel like those have been the 5 people. Like the authors of the podcast or the books have been my 5 people. And I actually think that's okay, and it is a good thing, because that means I'm kind of like taking from their body of knowledge and I'm absorbing it and applying it into my own life. And so that's part of the conscious practices that we're going to be doing this week. So I hope that you are ready for the last couple chapters. I'm really excited to share them with you, and I'm really appreciative that you are here. So I hope you have a great day. Bye.